I'm Donna Blanchard, and this is your ThinkTech News for Wednesday, October 21st, 2015. Rather suddenly, Russian President Vladimir Putin summoned Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to the Kremlin to discuss the situation in Syria. According to a transcript posted on the Kremlin's website, Mr. Putin met Mr. Assad late Tuesday and told him that Russia was ready to contribute not only to the fight against terrorism, but also to a political settlement of the conflict that has raged for more than 4 years. Mr. Assad, who has not been out of Syria since the civil war began 4 years ago, then briefed Mr. Putin on the current situation on the ground and his next steps. As remarked by the Kremlin, Mr. Putin told Mr. Assad that the military and political issues in Syria were linked. He said on the question of a settlement in Syria, our position is that positive results in military operations will lay the basis for then working out a long-term settlement based on a political process that involves all political forces, ethnic and religious groups. Ultimately, it is the Syrian people alone who must have the deciding voice here. Now, some could surmise that he seems to be suggesting that after they silence everyone who disagrees with them, then they'll listen to the rest. The final step in the approval process of the nuclear agreement with Iran is the endorsement of the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He has given that endorsement, but with the provision that Tehran expected all sanctions to be lifted or it would walk away from the deal. While the agreement stipulates that sanctions imposed over Iran's nuclear work are to be lifted, older measures are to remain in place. The United States continues to regard Iran as a state sponsor of terrorism because of its support for the Lebanese Shiite militia, Hezbollah. That could potentially restrict payments between Iran and Europe, since many financial transactions pass through New York. But the agreement also stipulates that Iran is barred from launching missiles capable of delivering a nuclear weapon, which they did just last week. Samantha Power, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, says she planned to turn to the Council for an appropriate response to Iran's disregard for its international obligations. Neither Ms. Power nor the White House has given any indication what that response might be. Vice President Biden announced today that he will not be a candidate in the 2016 presidential race. After months of speculation and apparent indecision, he made the announcement in the White House Rose Garden with President Obama standing next to him. He talked about the grieving process he and his family have been experiencing since the death of his son, Beau. Beau died of brain cancer in May. He was the former Delaware State Attorney General. Mr. Biden said the window had closed on mounting a realistic campaign. He added that the party would be making a tragic mistake if they in any way attempt to undo the Obama legacy. Canada has a new prime minister, and he's hot on the trail of making changes. New Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has promised several major policy changes, among them legalizing marijuana, dropping out of the American-led bombing campaign against the Islamic State, and deficit spending to pump up the economy and rebuild infrastructure. In his victory speech last night, he said, "A positive, optimistic, hopeful vision of public life isn't a naive dream. It can be a powerful force for change." Canadians from all across this great country sent a clear message. It's time for change in this country, my friends. Real change. Donna Blanchard, ThinkTech News.